Welcome to the MS&Me Radio Network, a division of the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network. The following program broadcast is an original creation by the broadcast entity. Discussion within the following broadcast should be used for informational purposes only and is not a substitute for professional medical advice or consultation. Before considering application of any broadcast content in the following program, please consult your healthcare provider. If you feel you are having a medical emergency, please contact your local health services for immediate assistance. MS&Me Media and the Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network do not guarantee or warrant the accuracy of information in the broadcast to follow. The Multiple Sclerosis Global Support Network provisions broadcast services to program hosts. Information discussed in the broadcast does not necessarily reflect the views, opinions, or goals of the network and are solely those of the show broadcast host. Should you wish to host a broadcast, please visit our website at msmemedia.com and submit a request to become a program host. We thank you for listening to the MS&Me Radio Network. Enjoy the show.
How's everyone doing? Welcome to MS Champion Radio. I hope everyone is doing okay. And let's just get right into today's topic. And today's topic is going to be the medicines that I take and the fear that I have of them. The very first medicine that I take is called Tysabri. And Tysabri is a monthly infusion that I receive once a month. And basically, like I said, it's a once a month infusion through the arm. And it keeps down the inflammation, and it does keep down the symptoms from time to time. And that medicine has been such a relief to me because I don't know what I would do without it, because the things that I felt, the pain that I felt, the things that I was going through as my MS was progressing day to day, I don't know what I would do without Tysabri. But it's taken me a while to understand and have that acceptance of taking Tysabri and be thankful and blessed enough to have that medicine within my system, because I really, really had a fear of Tysabri, and this is the reason why. Tysabri can cause a fatal brain injury by the name of JC virus, the JC virus, which others know as PML. And the first time when I heard that, I remember my doctor had mentioned it to me, but I totally forgot it. And he asked me, I do remember him asking me, "Are you okay with this?" But I really didn't have an option because he felt I had so much inflammation from the brain down to my feet. And Tysabri was the only medicine that was going to keep the inflammation down and start to take it away little by little. And when I first started to realize that it could cause that was when my mom was downstairs and a package came giving us notes and things regarding Tysabri, information and things of that nature. And she said, it could cause a brain disease and it can be fatal. And I remember I looked and I got so terrified. And in that moment, I still remember that feeling I had on the inside, and my heart started racing. So literally that Monday, I went up there and told him, I don't want to take this medicine because I just don't feel comfortable knowing that some infusion medicine that's supposed to make me better is going to have this kind of side effect. And then I'm going to be honest, the very, very first thing that was going through my mind was, I'm 22 years old. I don't want to be taken out by a medicine. I have dreams and goals that I want to achieve. This can't be happening. And that's when, like I said, I took, in the video I have on YouTube, I took everything like a champ, but that really did terrify me because I just didn't want that, even the thought of that, to even cross my mind and even come into my life. I just didn't want to deal with that. But my doctor said there really wasn't an option for me because that's the most effective medicine for my situation at the moment. So I really had to take it in and think about it and tell myself, Chris, it's going to be all right. And I really had to talk to God and pray and believe in my faith and know that it's going to be all right. And I'm telling myself now that fear was normal. It was nothing wrong with having that fear. And I had the absolute most right to question and ask my neurologist, what is this medicine? Why is it going to do that? And be afraid and reject it. That was my choice, and I had the absolute right to do that. But I'm so happy that I got the chance to take this medicine, because he even said, the even the oral pills have the same side effect and effect on the body, so nothing really would change. So it was like, okay, either I take the infusion medicine or I relapse, because over time my inflammation was just going to build back up. Because before I started Tysabri, I was on a 3-day infusion, which I might have talked about in other segments, a 3-day infusion of Solumedrol, which is a steroid, and I was on a 15-day prednisone. And that really, really, really did help a lot of my symptoms at that point. And my vision had came back with that with the Solumedrol. Everything was really starting to come back to normal. And not normal, but it was helping a lot, a whole lot. And I'm thankful and blessed for that as well. So just thinking about that, it's a risk. It's a very scary risk taker. And I can say for the first time in my life, that was a risk that I took. I've never in my 22 years of living taken any kind of risk. So that was a big risk that I had to take, but I did it on my faith. And when I first got there, I was terrified, but as the infusion process was going on, my mom and my grandfather were there, and the nurses are so helpful, and they're so sweet and nice, that I couldn't be even more thankful for them, because it happened at a time where I really believed that I needed those kind of people to be around me and tell me, just do it and it's going to be all right. So after that, I remember after getting that infusion, the very next day, I woke up and I was in a lot of pain. A lot of pain. My dizziness kind of had returned slightly, and I was just wondering, why am I in so much pain after this infusion medicine? This just doesn't make any sense to me, and it's not supposed to make me go downhill. It's supposed to make me go up, and I just assumed that I was just going to go up and up and up from there. And I was completely wrong. So that whole week, I was in a lot of excruciating pain. And so I ended up going to the emergency room, because I remember my heart was racing. I felt like my heart was racing at a pace that I never had felt it race before. And I just felt this rush of heat, and I felt like I was going to vomit. So going into the emergency room, when my neurologist showed up, I stayed in the emergency room I was in the room, I can say it was about 8 hours, and he came down and he did my little exam with me, and he said, I don't think you're having an attack. I think you're gonna go up and down, up and down. This is what multiple sclerosis does to you. And at that point, he recommended that I go have a second opinion. When going to have the second opinion, the first thing that went through my mind was, I want them to tell me, no, you don't need this medicine. You can stop it, and you can take something else that's not going to cause this fatal brain injury. But I didn't get that response. And it was at that point I really had to hold even tighter to my faith, because it's either, Chris, you take this medicine and you get better over time, and you just deal with the symptoms that comes along with this disease, so the inflammation doesn't build up anymore, or you stop taking it and you relapse. So I really talked to God at that point even more and said, I'm just going to go in, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to be all right. I know I'm going to be all right. I can and I will make it. And when I was tested, I didn't even test positive for the JC virus, and it's a really low chance that I could get it. So that sort of made it a little better. And to this day, as I'm talking, I'm more easy about it. Every time I go get the infusion, I be texting my friends. They say, "What are you doing?" Getting my infusion. Oh, how you doing? I'm like, I'm good. Everything is all right. I'm not going in there with a negative mindset, with negative thoughts, with negative energy within my soul, because I know, and I now know what that can do to me. And mentally, I don't need that at the moment. I don't need it at all for the rest of my life. But within myself, I can't do that to myself. I can't afford it. So, but from time to time, it does still cross my mind, you know, I don't know what's going to happen years from now, but I'm just going to take it day by day and thank God that I'm on a medicine that's helping me, because it's a lot of others out there who have MS and the medicine is not working for them and they're slowly but surely declining. And I'm blessed that I'm not in that situation. Can't be more blessed than that. So Tysabri, for me, if anyone else takes Tysabri, please message me on my social media, and I will tell my social media at the end of this segment. So please look out and listen out for that. But Tysabri is helping me. I can say that, though the fear I have with it, but it's helping, and that's all that I'm blessed with. And the second medicine that I take is called Deluxetine, spelled Duloxetine. And it's a pain medicine, and it's also an antidepressant. To be honest with you, when I'm in a lot of pain, it doesn't work. Excuse me, I take that back. It works for about an hour or 45 minutes to an hour. The most that it's ever worked was 2 hours, but then slowly but surely, the pain is gradually creeping back up, and then right then and there, I'm right back in pain. So I was at first, before I got on Deluxetine, I was on a medicine called gabapentin, and the side effect that gave me was I didn't know that it could trigger really like depressing kind of thoughts, and I thought I was literally going crazy in my room. The very first night that I took it, I was in my room and I felt like I was closed in my walls, and I was like, what is going on? And when I woke up the next morning, I was having these crazy dreams. The more I took it for 4 days straight, and I told my mom, I said, I'm not taking this anymore. I'm not. I don't have the choice for the infusion. Understandable. But these pills, I'm not taking it anymore. So at my next appointment, I went up to my neurologist and I told him, I'm not taking the gabapentin anymore. I'm not. So my physician prescribed me Lyrica, and sure enough, Lyrica did the exact same thing to me. It started making me have weird thoughts, weird feelings, and I feel like I was closed in the walls. So I stopped taking that. And at my second opinion, when I went to have that, he prescribed me the Deluxetine. And the Deluxetine, it doesn't give me those thoughts and the feeling of depression and sadness and anything like that. Though the sadness comes on its own within MS, but the medicine didn't trigger it, is what I'm saying. So I'm very, 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 very happy that this medicine is not doing that. And then someone said to me, the person that I was talking about in a few segments before this one, who helps me out now, he told me, sometimes, even because I wasn't taking this medicine as I should be, and I wasn't taking it because I'm like, the pain that I'm in, it really doesn't stop it. I don't get any relief but for 45 minutes to an hour. And he said something to me that spoke to me. And the words that he said was, would you rather no relief for some time or some relief for that amount of time? And that really spoke to me, because if I can have some relief for 45 minutes to an hour, that gives me the time. I can get up, I can walk to the store. Even when I'm in pain, I still get up and walk to the store, but it's just a suffering struggle. It really is. But that relief that I get from this pill, I can go to the store, I can get up, I can use my energy for what it needs to be used for, and for what I want it to be used for. And that's the best thing ever. And that's the best thing he could have ever had said to me. And I can't be more thankful for those words. And just thinking about taking medicine, another thing too, is always a reminder that I'm no longer in the best of health. And that kind of sends me into a mindset that I don't like to be in. But I always remember there is a better outcome, there is a better way to think. So I have to keep myself uplifted when taking medicine and when getting my infusion, because the sadness is only going to make this disease worse and decline. Stress, sadness, all of it. And I can't, like I said before, can't afford it. So another thing I wanted to talk about with you guys is, the medicines that you guys take, though it can be scary, though it has side effects, you know, but if the medicine is going to help, give it a try, you know, unless it's known to really do well. Ty is known to do that, but if it's going to help, trust in your faith, trust in God, trust in that medicine that it will help. Because at the end of the day, something I realized, we need a good medicine to keep functioning, to keep pushing through the pain. Without any medicine, that's rough, and we all have to do that sometimes, and it can be a tough thing for us. So medicine, let's make sure we're keeping up with our medicines. Let's make sure we're taking them as our doctor's order. Make sure that we remember to take our medicines. It's okay if we forget, but put it in your phone, make a little note, put a little note on the fridge, so that way when you're walking in the morning, you're going, you say you're getting your morning orange juice and you see it like, oh, I gotta take my medicine. So that's the perfect timing. Go grab your medicine, take it with your orange juice. And that's just a little scenario, but it's very important that we're taking our medicine. And going into another little thing that I wanted to speak about is, I've noticed that Tylenol isn't really working for me anymore for my headaches. And it wasn't working when I first when I was in the worst stages of MS, was January, February, and March. It wasn't working anymore at all for my headaches. But when I first started taking the infusion and then I would get a headache, my mom had made me this. She had some peppermint, no, excuse me. She had some coconut oil in a bottle, and it's for your skin and it's for your hair. But she put some drops of peppermint in it, and I rub it on my temples, and it really eases and takes away the headache, and I just feel a lot better. And lately, my headaches have been starting to make me extremely nauseous, and that's something at my next doctor's appointment I'm really going to talk to him about, because I really don't like that feeling. The other day I was in class and a headache was creeping up, and it was really starting to make me feel like I was going to vomit, and I sit almost in the back. So I was wondering, like, oh my goodness, if I vomit, I'm going to have to run out of this classroom, and that I don't want these kids to have to see that. So that is something that I'm gonna consult with my doctor about, because I need this headache to be taken care of. And I do get nauseated from the Deluxetine. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. The Deluxetine, it makes me nauseous, and it lifts me. It makes me feel like I'm kind of loopy and out of it. So that's why most days, I know I'm not supposed to skip taking it, but a lot of the days, the days that I had to go to school, I really didn't take it, because I was going to be in the classroom really loopy, really sleepy. And some days it'll pass me out, like I'll be out like a light. And I just didn't want to have to deal with that and feeling nauseous all the time in the classroom. So I would wait to take that. Something else that I wanted to speak about is, I wonder, because I've heard about this. What will we get out of our medicine? And what I mean by that is, say if we're going to be on a medicine for the rest of our life, will it stop working eventually? And what are we going to do? Because the most effective medicine, if it stops working, because just like a face wash, if your face is used to it and your body has gotten prone to something, after a while sometimes your body's not going to respond to it anymore because it's gotten used to it. And that's another thing that I had thought about, but lately I've been taking that thought out of my mind, but sometimes, I do think about that. Like, what if Tysabri doesn't work anymore? But in all honesty, I only plan to be on Tysabri for 2 years, and that's the most I'm going to take it, because they say you have to be on it for 2 or more years for you to start showing up positive for the JC virus. And I'm not taking that risk. And my MRIs have shown that I am responding well to it, and my inflammation has been brought down a good amount. So that's the thing that I'm blessed for. So I'm not that kind of risk right there to take it past those 2 years. That is not something I'm willing to do for myself. I'm just not willing to do that. So I'd rather take the Copaxone, the Rebev, you know, even though I'm used to getting stuck in my arm with an infusion now, so it's nothing really. Even though I do get tired of it, it's not nothing that's going to be abnormal to me. So the injection medicine, I can't remember the name at the moment. Please forgive me. I don't think it's the Rebev though, but the injection medicine that you have to inject yourself with 2 to 3 times a week in your thigh. Um, I would rather take take that than to go forward and keep taking the infusion medicine, knowing that each month I could really end up getting this brain injury. And that right there, I already know that's going to mess me up mentally, and I just can't put myself in that situation. So I know for a fact after 2 years, it's not going to be no more Tysabri. And I still haven't had this conversation with my neurologist, and it makes me wonder when I tell him after that second, when it comes to that 2nd year mark, which will be March of 2019, Mr. Neurologist, I'm not taking this anymore, because this is not going to be okay. More and more as I take this, I'm more and more capable of, getting this brain injury. And something that really had bothered me was, I kind of feel like some neurologists, I'm not speaking for all of them, but they 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 work for us. We pay them a good amount of money to work for us and answer any question, but I feel like sometimes they're not listening. They're just doing what they want to do, and that's fine. I had to take the medicine, but I want you to listen, answer my questions. As I said before, I had the right to be afraid. I had the right to question and say no, because this is my first time dealing with this. I've never had a disease before in my life. No one in my family has MS but me. So I don't know anything about it. And then I'm 22 years old, so I don't need for it to be an argument. I need for it to be an understanding. If you want a patient to, this is how I look at it. If you want a patient to cooperate, help them cooperate, guide them. I'm not saying doctors and neurologists aren't guiding, but they have to stop being so forceful and so with such a, what is the word that I'm looking for? With just such a certain mentality that they have. It's kind of like a parent, basically. A parent, you ask your parent to do something, or they tell you to do something and you don't want to do it, and they say, oh, well, you're going to do it because I said so. That's your mother, that's your father, and what goes on in their house, you have to abide by those rules. But your doctor is supposed to work for you. But your parents gave you life, so you have to respect them. Your doctors, you have to respect them as well, because they're there to help you, but they're there for you. You're not there for them. So when going into your neurologist, don't be afraid to ask any type of questions. Don't be afraid to say what's on your mind respectfully. Use the right choice of words and ask questions. If you don't feel comfortable about something, if something is uneasy with you, go get a second opinion like I did. Make sure you talk it out. And if you need to see a therapist, there's nothing wrong with that. Because you're scared to take Tysabri, you're scared to take the oral medicine that's going to have a bad side effect, go do that. It's nothing wrong with that. Don't make yourself feel like you're crazy because you're having these weird thoughts of this PML virus, because I recently got messaged on my awareness account on Instagram, and a girl was very terrified of it, and I told her that's the same thing that I was terrified of. But after a while, I told her the same thing I was just telling you guys. I held on to my faith, and that's what I did. And so again, they work for you, you don't work for them. So, and at the end of the day, the neurologist relationship that you have, it should be a team effort. It should be growth. They should want to help you grow within this disease, not help this disease grow, help you grow within this disease. And what I mean by that is build your knowledge up, build your confidence up, build your strength up, take away a lot of that fear that you have and let you know that it's going to be all right. If you don't feel comfortable with something, I can't state that enough, you can go and get a second opinion. Don't let your doctor stop you from going and get a second opinion. If you have a bad feeling about something, make sure you bring that up. Don't hold anything in, because it's just going to trigger certain emotions. And with MS, I always say this, you don't need those emotions. They're going to be there, but let them be there from the disease. Don't let it be there from your neurologist not cooperating with you. So use your voice, use the power that you have within yourself to speak up. You know that you're stronger than that. You know what you're capable of. And you know your complete strength. So I'm going to say this one last time so I don't keep repeating myself. Your neurologist works for you. You don't work for them. Work together as a team. And so in closing, stay strong. Though we hate taking medicines, I don't know anyone that likes taking medicine. I don't think there's a person on this earth that likes to take medicine. But if the medicine is going to give us a better outcome so that we can function, let's do that. Being afraid, that's normal. But it's going to be all right. All right, I promise. If you guys want any help, if you guys have any questions, feel free to message me on my social media, which is Young MS Warrior, at Young MS Warrior on Instagram, YOUNG Warrior. Warrior spelled the same. The reason why I say this in every segment is because I know us young generation, we use a lot of slang and different things like that, but mine's just spelled regular. So at Young MS Warrior on Instagram, feel free to message me at any time you would like. I always respond. I love talking to people. So don't be afraid to comment on a picture so we can start a conversation. Introduce yourself. Follow me. Let's take the time to get to know each other. And remember, we're all our champions. We are our warriors for the rest of our lives. Let's do this. Let's fight. Chris Carter, the MS champion, signing off. I love you guys.